There it is, Fox Across America with Jimmy Thaler, the band fired up to get this next guest back into the studio. It's kind of a big deal, and you have so many titles, I don't even know which one to go with, but Elizabeth Pipko's here, and I'm excited about it. Hey, girl.
Hi.
We whatchamacallit, what was I going to say? The last time I saw you, you had your buddy in studio.
Okay.
It was a gal you were friends with.
I believe it.
I don't even know what she did. You parade a lot of people in and out of this studio.
Do I?
Yes.
Which is crazy because I have no friends and nobody in my life. And yet when I'm here, they all pop up.
People
right?
just pop up.
They're here to see you.
You stop it right now.
Yeah.
Good to see you, pal.
Good to see you.
There's a lot going on. This is a challenging interview for me.
Okay.
Because obviously there's a lot of criticism of Zelenskyy in the White House, but you've been on record as saying Zelenskyy handled it flawlessly and J.D. Vance needs to get his life together. How come? I kid, Pipko.
For 1 second, I got scared. I was like, wait, what did I do?
What did I tweet?
Yeah,
I kid. Did he, in your opinion, obviously you've worked alongside the president, you know the administration really well. Did he, in your opinion, show up to deal with a different version of the White House, meaning the last one?
The non-existent one.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's one thing about like Democrats versus Republicans or even Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, but this is like a president who's physically there versus a president who has, really no idea what was going on, couldn't find Ukraine on a map, and was shaking hands with ghosts for 4 years.
What is that?
Things have changed a little bit. Yeah, and I don't think he played it really well.
Yeah, that's what I think happened is I think he went in there, basically he got used to a different way of doing business in Washington, which is like, we want the war to go on forever. It's profitable.
Of course.
The guy's not going to win. I mean, and that's one of the problems is that no one's been honest about Ukraine's ability to win this war. They can't win
anybody's.
Yeah.
Every time they say we have to support Ukraine, which at one point in time I even believed myself, when we support Ukraine, what does that mean? Like, no one has been like, we give them money until blank, which will be the victory. No one has said that. No one has defined a victory.
They haven't defined victory, and they certainly haven't defined an acceptable amount of death because it's gone too far already.
Right.
And what's crazy right now is if a peace deal is struck tomorrow, it's going to look a lot like the one he could have made in 2022. And I think that's part of the problem he has there too, is he's holding out for more because somewhere in his conscious or somewhere where honest conversations are held, there's going to be this reality that all this additional bloodshed was unnecessary. So it's a mess.
I mean, I think when Donald Trump is in the White House, the message of all the additional bloodshed was unnecessary kind of goes for everyone, including everyone who has supported war, even Americans, right and left, because there's kind of a lot of those folks. So I think whether it's Ukraine, whether it's what's going on in Gaza, or whether it's the wars America has been involved in every single time someone else was in the office other than Donald Trump, a lot can be said about those that want to make money and get attention off of war versus someone who just wants peace in the world and still gets attacked for it.
That's what it is. Elizabeth Pipko is in the house. We're fired up about it. A lot of dirtbags are having a hard time right now because I think this is the other dueling issue is obviously there are people who don't want the war to end because it is profitable, like you said. And I'm sure there's a percentage of Ukraine that wants to fight to a standstill forever because there's a lot of unaudited money flowing into the country. But then there's this other reality of what peace would represent to Ukraine. Getting past the endless flow of money, there could be an election, which might not bode well for somebody like Zelenskyy. And then there's just the other reality that if Donald Trump brokers a peace deal, there's a lot of people in establishment Washington that can't have that. Like in their dream scenario, the EU gets us out of this in one piece so they can deny Trump the win. I mean, but isn't that like such a sad motivation, knowing people are dying in the meantime?
I mean, that's kind of what they're famous for, though, right? Yeah. It's like wanting anything but normalcy and peace and a normal, regular life for people around the world that want the same. It's like when you have a problem in Israel and the random heads on the left and the right go, let's attack Iran. Yeah. And it's like, no, maybe we shouldn't kill more people. Yeah. We should just advocate for peace, even if that means less money for us. Yeah,
and that's the crazy part of this is most of them don't see it that way. And it's sad, but they're finding out the hard way that they're at odds with the American people who do look at this war and they're like, end it. What are we doing this for?
Yeah, and not to prop up the guy too much, but people are only finally seeing it now because they're seeing an alternative. Whereas before this, Republicans and Democrats maybe said the things a little differently, but really wanted the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah, straight up. Yeah. I mean, and listen, we're finding that out right now in Congress because at the end of the day, the Republicans aren't about to cut their own spending. No. With a lot of what Mike Johnson is proposing. They're like, well, we'll do a continuing resolution and we'll get back to it in September. And what do you think's going to happen in September? Nothing. So it is a mess, but I appreciate your willingness to come on and call balls and strikes as it pertains to such things. The other thing I was going to throw at you, because there's a lot going on. It's been a lot of moving parts since we got together. Is we have tomorrow a joint address to Congress. Not quite a State of the Union because tradition dictates it's not the end of his first year in office. But that joint address to Congress, I would imagine, is going to read a little bit like the inaugural, where Trump has got a lot of truth to share that might not be popular in half of the room. Are you expecting him to be in full roast battle mode as he was at the inauguration?
I mean, wasn't he kind of born in full roast battle mode? Like, that's just Donald Trump, right? It's also, there was like Donald Trump before the election who was a full-on troll master, whatever you want to call it, roast master. But now he's won. He has nothing to lose at all. So yeah, that's Donald Trump until the end of time, because he's looking people in the eye who tried to make sure he ended up dead in prison.
It's not nothing.
Actually have to watch him be the president of the United States. So yeah, he's trolling every day, just being Donald Trump.
Just the fact that he's here, you're saying. Yeah. It is kind of funny when you look at it through that lens, that just the idea of him is a lot for these people. But what I'm fascinated by, and I think the media might be coming to grips to this, maybe they're not, is he is more popular than them. So their ability to control the message, it's not the same. Meaning 8 years ago in the White House, if CNN and MSNBC said something, 80% of the country believed it because they were 80% of the media. You know, now the consumption habits have changed in a way that social media is probably providing more news, more political content than anything. And the media can't really combat that. So do they not recognize, I guess this is my question, do they not recognize that their grip is slipping? Or do they recognize it and they're just getting louder for the people still believing it?
Yeah, they're panicking and trying to squeeze every last dollar and moment of their career that they can, because it's not just that clearly people support Donald Trump. It's the fact that they said for 4 years the man's life was over. The man's political career was over. He's probably, again, going to die in prison. He's committed all these crimes. And he won in a landslide and is president again. So nothing they said from 2015 to now was actually real. Like, not a word.
Historic in that the landslide was the only landslide they didn't blame on climate change. That was
Not yet. Give it time.
That one. But that's funny.
They're figuring out how to spin it.
That's so silly. We're talking to Elizabeth Pipko, and that's always exciting. So we get a roast battle tomorrow night at the Capitol, which matters. I'm going to get a kick out of that. We never root for anybody to get fired, but wasn't it kind of silly that after 10 years of race baiting, Joy Reid got fired in Black History Month? It was kind of funny.
I don't root for anyone to get fired.
Ever.
But when you're that angry and then it shows that people actually aren't viewing and agreeing with you, it actually makes me kind of happy.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that this was a good chunk of the country believing the nonsense she was spewing. That means they don't. And that's actually really good news for
Nature
us.
is healing. And did you laugh at this? At the Jake Tapper thing. She's writing a book about that's my favorite thing in the world. He's like, if only there were some signs that the guy, shaking hands with invisible people, like you said, was going downhill. I mean, who would have thought? We were hoodwinked.
But Jake Tapper is one of the people that covered up for the handshaking with the ghosts.
Of course.
And who yelled at all of us for posting deep fakes of the president that apparently weren't true the entire time. He was the most well-functioning, most,
that was the Joe Scarborough. This is the sharpest Biden ever.
The sharpest Biden has ever been. He covered up for him, and I was trying to make a book deal out of the fact that other people covered up for him. It's
dirtbags.
Classic.
I really do believe I always say we're living in the death of shame. Like, people don't feel shame.
No, because the news cycle is never ending, and in 2 seconds, someone else tries to embarrass themselves, and someone else tries to go viral, and it's over.
That's so true.
And then you have to out-shame yourself from 5 minutes ago to go viral again.
Everybody just wants to get to the top of Mount Clickmore and to get those clicks. There's no bad way to get the clicks in the eyes of people because they want that relevance, and that's the currency, but it's bad for society because it really is like a broken compass. I guess we're course correcting right now. And I don't mean to lecture people about shame with my wardrobe, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's bigger than just a bad sport coat.
Right.
Is everything else cool?
Yeah, no complaints.
Florida's happy. I'm going to be in Florida March 29th. I'm going to be in Jacksonville.
Oh, wow. Florida. That's real
Theater.
Florida.
I know, that's real Florida. And then I'm in Fort Myers April 12th. That's a Byron Donalds district. And he's probably going to be, he's got a good shot to be the governor.
He's probably going to be the governor.
He's got the president's endorsement. Wouldn't you say, and we're just spitballing now, Trump's endorsement is bigger in Florida than the governor's, even though the governor's really popular. I think Trump's is bigger. What do you think?
Significantly
You
bigger,
do, though? Okay.
Yes.
I would just make,
let's not forget, Donald Trump ran against that same governor and
beat him.
What happened.
Because you made kind of a face when I said it. I was like, am I wrong? I'd love to be wrong.
I was waiting for you to give me an opening to be like, oh yeah, Casey DeSantis for governor.
Once in a while, Pipko makes this face that's supposed to mean shut up, Chubbs. That's how she tells me that off the air.
My husband's right there. He's actually more used to the face than anyone else.
She's like, if I make a face that means shut up, Chubbs. Like, you don't have to say the Chubbs part. I get it. I'm trying. But I get it's funny. But I would agree with you on that. But then there's this other lane, okay? Because a lot of people are talking about DeSantis' wife, Casey DeSantis, running. She's a sweet woman. I've met her. But the point is, if she runs, I don't see how that helps DeSantis with his own political ambitions because he's going to be out of office anyway.
Yeah, it's very straight. I feel like in politics, you kind of have to pick which one is the star, or you end up like Hillary Clinton.
Oh, man.
Forever, which is not a good place to be.
If they make that Trump $250 bill, though, are you telling me you wouldn't send Hillary a birthday card with a $250 in it?
I think her husband would send her the birthday card with the $250.
Good for you. That's true, because he doesn't want the big bills. He wants the singles. You know how he rolls.
He needs the singles.
You stop it. Elizabeth Pipko, you still got it. Good to see you, pal.
Thank you, too.
We'll do it again.